President Joe Biden has just unveiled a new raft of sanctions, economic sanctions, against Moscow today, on Thursday, to respond to Russia's ongoing assault on Ukraine. Vladimir Putin is the aggressor, Joe Biden said. And Putin chose this war. Now, him and his country will bear the consequence. The U.S. and its Western allies will block the assets of 4 of Russia's largest banks. In addition to U.S. sanctions on 2 financial institutions earlier this week, and impose sanctions on Russian elites and new export controls. This is the latest measure, also targeted Belarus defense and security industries, along with 24 Belarusian individuals and entities for the country's role in the attack on the Ukraine. President Biden said the new economic measure would limit Russia's ability to do business in dollars, euros, pounds, and yen to be part of the global economy. The president also announced the U.S. would deploy additional forces to Germany to help bolster the NATO alliance along the eastern flank. Following Biden's remarks, the Pentagon ordered 7,000 more troops to Europe. Some people ask, why is Russia invading Ukraine? Some say, could it be the start of World War II? Wow. We never know. This aggression cannot go unanswered, Biden said. America stands up to bullies. We stand up for freedom. But the president stopped short of blocking Russian financial institutions' access to SWIFT, the global financial system which ties together banks across the world. Biden insisted the latest measures exceed SWIFT and suggested it was a move that European allies were hesitant to make. The president said additional Russians and their families would face new sanctions, but he declined to say why he has yet to sanction Vladimir Putin personally, only adding that it's on the table. Biden also issued a chilling warning that he believes Putin has much larger ambition that extend beyond Ukraine's borders. He said that he wants to, in fact, reestablish the former Soviet Union. This is what President Joe Biden said. And this is a tough one. It's definitely a tough one. My question is, how is it going to affect us over here in the U.S.? How is it going to affect the economy? What is it going to do for us? You know, is it going to affect gas prices? What is it going to do? Or are we going to step our foot in there as a person that don't like bullies and get in the war if Putin does a little too much? Only time will tell, but we'll see. But in the meanwhile, as Joe Biden is saying all of those things, China had a response to America. And China says, hey, America is the problem that started this Ukraine war. In Beijing, China called Thursday for talks to resolve the Ukraine crisis and avoided criticizing President Vladimir Putin's attack. While in a step that could blunt the impact of Western sanctions, Beijing also approved imports of Russian wheat. So while everybody else said, hey, we ain't dealing with them other European nations, China said, hey, we gonna still deal with you. That's our buddy. Chinese ties with Russia have grown stronger under President Xi Jinping, who met Putin this month in Beijing. China's multi-billion-dollar purchases of Russian gas for its energy-hungry economy have been a lifeline to Putin, who already was under Western sanctions over his 2014 seizure of Crimea from Ukraine. China is the only major government to refrain from condemning Putin's attack, but it tempered that by calling for restraint and respect for national sovereignty. We still hope that the parties concerned will not shut the door to peace and engage instead in dialogue and consultation and prevent the situation from further escalating, said a foreign ministry spokesperson, Hua Chunying. Meanwhile, China's embassy in Ukraine told its citizens there to stay home and to place a Chinese flag inside or on their vehicle if they needed to travel. Government echoes Russian frustration with what they say is unfair. American dominance of global affairs and Moscow's rejection of the eastward expansion of NATO, the U.S.-European military alliance. Beijing has blamed Washington and its European allies for the conflict over Ukraine. The things that we are not going to know about. These are for the high powers, if you ask me, in my opinion. The high powerful people, they know what the other powerful people are going. They see the beef and conflict. We only see what's given to us from the media. Like before I did this story, they had a woman on there. She had a bandage on her face. Her face was dirty. Looked like she had just was in a war zone somewhere. She was still alive, but they showed her face and said, hey, this is what Putin is doing to the civilians over there. Okay, and it continues. It says, all parties should work for peace instead of escalating the tension or hyping up the possibility of war. Huya said, those parties who were busy condemning others, what have they done? Have they persuaded others? After the Beijing meeting, and Putin issued a statement endorsing key foreign policy issues for both sides: Moscow's opposition to a NATO expansion in former Soviet Republic and China's claim to the self-ruled island of Taiwan. Moscow's attack has thrust Beijing into a conflict between its partnership with Putin and its sensitivity about respect for national borders due to his anxiety about holding on to restive areas such as Tibet and Xinjiang. Li Xing, director of the Institute of European and Asian Studies at Shanghai University of Political Science and Law, said the West forced Russia to take action with NATO's expansion and the deployment of a missile defense system. On the one hand, we respect territorial integrity and the sovereignty of Ukraine, but on the other hand, we must consider the historical process of the situation where Russia has been pushed into a corner and forced to counter-attack. China hasn't endorsed Putin's recognition of independence of eastern Ukraine's separatist area or his decision to send in soldiers, but Hua said Beijing called on parties to respect others' legitimate security concerns. Hua did not describe Russia's actions as an invasion or directly refer to the movement of Russian forces into Ukraine. At a conference in Germany last weekend, Foreign Minister Wang Yi accused the United States of stirring up antagonizing. However, Wang said the sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of any country should be respected. He added, Ukraine is no exception. Western trade and financial sanctions on Russia would strengthen Beijing in their relationship by increasing China's importance as an export market and source of investment. Russia is one of the world's biggest wheat producers. When I read through some of this article, it just kind of goes to show you that regardless of everybody else pushing against Russia, you still have China, who doesn't want to get in the middle of the madness, but they're still saying, hey, this is my friend. I do business with him. He's the lifeline to our gas. He sells us something that keeps our company thriving. So we don't want to get on his bad side, definitely, because after the smoke clears, think about it. If you were my friend and you turned against me during the time I was in battle, when the smoke clears, I'm going to be looking at you with the side eye. We're not going to be friends no more. You might think we are, but we're not going to be. Because eventually the smoke has to clear, right? So, like China said, they're doing the smart thing, the wise thing. You know what? We're not gonna say nothing about it. We're not gonna pick a side. Because if you have to pick a side, now you're no longer in the middle. If I stand neutral on my grounds, I'm just the person, I'm the middleman. I could probably be the one to diffuse it. But as soon as I pick a side, that's where the problem starts. Just like us, Canada, those other European countries, they picked a side. You picked a side. So you just know one thing for sure and one thing for certain, that the smoke is going to clear, and when it clears, things will never be the same. And with that, I'm going to say this is the news in you. North, east, west, south, unite from every alley in Cali, intersection and back street. Subscribe to the channel and hit the thumbs up on your way out the door.
I'm not who you think I am. Your perception is a lesson with a fail grade on it. Steady living life like I would never see the morning. True shit, man, I'm more than pain, I'm more than stain on sidewalk, I'm more than black skin on my face. Destined to be great, gotta elevate mind. Elevation is the game that I gotta play, gotta win, gotta find escape to a better day.